So here's the current situation. And the shutoff valve is down in there in the crawl space under there. So I had to crawl under here and shut the water off because it was just gushing out of there. Looks like it was already repaired once. This is my scrap pipe. The only problem is I only have one connector, and I'm going to need another one for right here and here. So that's unfortunate. So that would have been done relatively quickly and easily, but I only have one of those things. For some reason I thought, I didn't realize when it broke, I didn't realize that there was already one of those pieces there that was apparently from being repaired another time. Not from me or us, but I guess that was repaired. So I just thought it was just one smooth pipe, and all I literally had to do was just clean off the two edges, you know, because it broke like, you know, crooked. This stuff always breaks, you know, off. So I was just going to cut it, make a nice clean cut on both ends, and then stick it in that joint, the one joint that I had, you know, obviously prime it, glue it, stick it in there, and then we'd be good to go. But for some reason, I just didn't notice when it happened that there was already a joint there. So that whole joint had to be removed. So that therefore there was about that much, you know, has to be replaced with the pipe that you saw I cut. I brought scrap pipe just in case, even though I didn't realize if I need to use scrap pipe, I'm going to need another joint, 2 joints to connect that scrap pipe. But anyway, I am no pro by any means, super amateur. This is, you know, I've been starting to do more of these repairs than I want to. Traditionally, look, honestly, I would rather just pay for the irrigation company to come do it, even though, you know, it's like the cost of a mow. So basically I mowed that lawn for free if, you know, we pay for someone to come fix it, versus me, you know, those parts are just, you know, I mean, when you invest in the primer and the glue and the cutting tool, I mean, that stuff obviously is not cheap. It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. But it's a one-time investment that you get, and then you just you have it. Like the glue and the primer last several uses, and the cutting tool lasts as long as you know, take care of it or whatever. It's not like it breaks or anything. And the joints and the joints, the scrap pieces, all that, the connectors, the scrap pieces, pipe, all that stuff is super cheap to get that. So in essence, it saves a lot of money for me to just do it myself, but I just don't have the time. I'm out here on the weekend trying to get this fixed real quick for them because I'm the one that broke it. If you notice, it was high up and there was a little protecting cover on the bottom, which is something I'm going to start doing to all of my backflows that we take care of, so that I never have that problem with someone coming through with the trimmer and just tapping it too hard, even though I told them to avoid it or be careful, and they just nick it, and it's just enough for all that pressure of the water to just burst through, or just even the tiniest little leak. It still needs to be fixed. So having that extra wall, basically you just get a larger size pipe that goes over at the top of that before we connect the backflow in the spring. If I do that to everyone, I mean, you just get along like the length of the pipe that you saw I had, but just a wider one. Just get one of those or two of those, and you cut them, to size about this, about this length or whatever. Just slide it over the top of each one, and then it gives that protective layer so we can trim around it and never have to worry about accidentally breaking it. But that was my fault. That had nothing to do with the trimmer. That was just pure absent-mindedness, where I was trying to squeeze in between the fence and that backflow, and I just, I do it every week without a problem. And that one time I was just off for some reason. I just must have been slightly distracted or whatever the situation was. It was super muddy over there, so I should have just avoided it altogether, and we should have just trimmed it out. But even though it's a decent size strip in between the house and the fence, we should just bit the bullet and just trimmed it. Taking the other extra 5 minutes or whatever to trim that whole section. It wouldn't have looked as good, but at least it would have been done, and we wouldn't have had this situation. But it was so muddy, whatever. I was just off, I guess, and I just tapped it with the deck of the mower. Just tapped it, and just the force of the mower, the weight of it, the deck, whatever, just boop, just snap that right in half, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But obviously, lesson learned, it is what it is. But I got to come back and fix that.